Welcome to today's tutorial. Today we are going to make this app, which is a password generator using PySimpleGUI. It's awesome, very simple, with less than 30 lines of code, around 30 lines of code. Now let's see what it does. So I'm going to give it like some uppercase. Let's say I want 2 uppercase letters in my password, 2 lowercase, 2 or 3 digits, and 2 symbols. If I press OK, you see this is generated with random numbers and lowercase and uppercase. So I can also copy this. I can also press OK, and these will go on and on. So I've made this using PySimpleGUI. I have several other projects using PySimpleGUI. I have some tutorials, so please check their website, PySimpleGUI.org, or read the docs.io, or watch my previous tutorials. Now, let's see how it should be made. First, let's use our Visual Studio Code. Okay, now I've created this file, pass.py. And before using PySimpleGUI, let's make our password generator first, and then we'll transfer it to PySimpleGUI. So the password generator, we need to import first random, because we are going to use random numbers and letters. Another thing we need is import string constant. Why string? This is very, very nice. So I'm going to show you here. So you see that when you import string, you have access to ASCII lowercase letters like these, uppercase letters. So instead of typing them out individually, you can simply type in a string.ascii uppercase, and you will have uppercase digits like this, and punctuation, you will have access to symbols. So that's why I've imported string. So now let's go back and let's see. I'm going to say up, or let's say just upper. And how do I get access to those uppercase letters? So string dot ASCII, and you see these suggestions, uppercase. So now I have access to uppercase letters. If I print upper, you see now I have all these uppercase letters of the English alphabet here. So that is how easy it is. Now for lower, the same, string again dot string dot ASCII and lowercase. For digits, string dot digits. And for punctuation, or let's call them symbols, string dot punctuation. So now we have access to uppercase, lowercase, digits 0 to 9, and those symbols. How do I choose some random uppercase letters? So for that, I have several options in Python. Now I'm going to use a random module that we've just imported, and we're going to use sample. So I can say actually from yeah, it's fine. So this is how we use this, random.sample. So we are going to sample out how many out of all the uppercase letters. Let's say for now 2. So choose 2 random letters out of all these uppercase letters. Now let's do the same thing with the lowercase and digits, like here, 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 and let's close it off like so, very fast. Okay, now I have 2 of each of uppercase, lowercase, digits, and punctuation or symbols stored inside these. So let's store them inside another variable, and I want to concatenate, add them together. So upper plus lower plus digits plus symbols. So now we have a a list. So if I print this list, which is total, let's see what we get. So I'm going to run my program here and look at this. 2 uppercase, 2 lowercase, 2 numbers, and 2 symbols. Awesome. So far so good. But you can see that it's predictable. Uppercase, lowercase, numbers, and symbols. I want this to be ordered like randomly. How can I do that? Again, let's not make it difficult and let's use random, that sample again. How? Let's say total, which is basically the same total, but we are going to change it. I want to choose randomly. So random dot sample, get a sample, random sample of total, but how many? Do I need 2 of these? 4 of these? No. I want all of these, but randomly. So how do I know how many there are here? It's basically the length of total, right? So instead of putting 2 or 3, we should say whatever the length of total is, give me the same numbers, but in a random fashion. If I had mentioned 2 here, it would only give me 2 of these randomly. If I had said 3, it would give me 3. If I said 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, it would give me 8, all of them, but randomly. Since I don't know what the user wants, how many, so I would say whatever the length is, give them to me randomly. Now, if I run this, you will see now we have a lowercase, uppercase, lowercase, symbol, number. So these are all random now. But in a list, I want to connect them, join them together. I don't want anything, any space like this. So how can I join them? I would say total equals, like just quotes, nothing in between, no space, nothing. Dot join, join the elements of total and put them in another list called total. Now all these will be joined together without anything in between them. So if I run total, you see this? Awesome. You see, now we have it as one word. So this is how we generate passwords, right? But let's get to PySimpleGUI, and instead of these 2, we will ask for the user's input. So to access PySimpleGUI, you should pip install. So in your terminal, click on terminal, new terminal. Here, pip install PySimpleGUI, press enter. It might take a couple of seconds for you. Now that we've installed this, let's import it here. So I'm going to import PySimpleGUI. Look, uppercase P S G U I, and let's give it a nickname because it's quite long. So we're going to refer to that SG from now on. Now that we have this, how am I going to make a window like the one that I just did? So let's go down below. We'll use this code later. Okay. Now here, in order to have an idea of how to make layouts in PySimpleGUI, well, I told you I have other tutorials, but let's take a look at this app again. So here we have a layout. This layout is 1 row, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rows. So we have 6 rows here. The first thing you need to do in PySimpleGUI is to define your layout. Let's just define it as a variable, and the layout is basically a list. So the list is going to be this. So this is where the list starts and this is where it ends. And every row is another list. So we need to have 6 lists here. So that will be 1, and then 2, and then 3 and 4. So I will copy that later. So what do we have in every row? First we have a text and we have an input. So in order to have a text, sg.text, that's simple. What do you want inside the text? uppercase, like how many uppercase letters you want. On the same row, we have an input, sg.input. And let's put nothing in there for now. And I'm going to copy this and paste it, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we have a button, but here, let's just say lowercase. And instead of this, we have digits. And instead of this, we have symbols. Okay. Now we have a button. So how do we make a button? sg.button, that's simple. And this button is going to be okay. And the second button is going to be cancel. So cancel. And the last row, we're going to have another text which says password. And next to it, we're going to have a multi-line. Look, this is like a multi-line because I want to show the text, the password here, so that people could copy this. I'm going to use a multi-line here. So multi-line. Okay, now we have it. So we have the layout. This is a raw layout. We have just defined it. We haven't created anything now. So we need to create a window. For that, let's just create a window variable. And we say sg.window. This is how you create a window with capital W. And you can give it 2 basic arguments. You can have a lot actually, but 2 basic. The first one is the title. The title is going to be password generator. And the layout is going to be obviously layout, something we define here. But still, if I click on this, it's not going to be created. We need to read the window. So we say window.read. And in order to make sure that even when we close the window, it doesn't run in the background, we need to close it here as well. Okay, now we have this. So let me close this one. Okay, and see. Now if I run this, look, we have this. Awesome. But you see, this is so different from the previous one because of the theme, that is the colors. How do we change the theme? Well, we can change the theme here, like sg.theme, and the theme that I have chosen is dark blue 6. You can just Google different themes for PySimpleGUI and there will be a list. Now let's run this and look, change already. Awesome. But the sizes are very small, so I need to change also the sizes of the fonts. So here we say sg.set_options, and here we can change the font size. I would choose Verdana 15. Now this is the font size, so you can see it's much bigger now. Very good, but the problem is the input field is very long. I want it to be 15, smaller up to here. So inside inputs, we choose size equals 15. That should be enough. I'm going to copy this size. Okay, I pasted it all over, and even with the multi-line. Now if I run this, you see, okay, it's much better. The issue is this is not in line, so I'm going to push all the inputs to the right. We are going to put something here in between, which is called sg.push in between all these. Now I'm going to do that now. So sg.push and comma, and I'm going to copy this here. Okay, I pasted it all over as well, except for the buttons. I put it in between all the others. Now if I run this, you see, much better. Now this one, I need to get rid of this scroll bar. So multi-line, comma here, after size, I would say no scroll bar and set it to true. Now if I run this, it should work. You see, now everything is in line. Awesome. Now here comes the point, another point. If I enter something here, how can I have access to these numbers and how can I process these? And look, I can also type in here. I should disable this, by the way. So the multi-line, let's say disabled, where is it? Oh, because that's dot here, not a comma. So disabled, and this should be true, so that I would not be able to, let's run it again. Now I cannot type in here anything. Okay, but how can I have access to these values and events, like click on OK or cancel? So for that, to have access, let's get rid of this window read. We need to have a while loop, and we put a while true, and true is always true, so the window will keep running and will receive the information, the events, the clicks, and the values. So we are going to have access to events and values by reading the window.read. So when you read the window, it gives you events and values, so you can have access to values as well. I have another tutorial I told you on this as well. Okay, now we need to say if the event is equal to cancel. What is cancel? It's the name of this button. If someone clicks on that button, or event is equal to sg.when_closed, that is that X mark, then break, that is break out of the loop and go and close a window. Now, but if the event is equal to OK, that is the OK button, the button that we defined here, then this code should run. Now we're going to use our code. Let's cut this and paste it here, and let's make sure that we indent it correctly as well. Okay, now we have access to all this. Awesome. But we don't want to. We want what the user inputs, that is the value. By how do I get access to this value of this input for uppercase? I should identify it with a key, and the key is going to be something like, I don't know, up for uppercase, and it's the convention to use hyphens and uppercase. And let's just copy this key and paste it. Okay, I pasted it everywhere, as you can see, but we need to change it to different names now instead of up. So I change the names now: key for lowercase, for digits, for symbols, and for password for the multi-line text. Okay, now I know how to look for this, because this is a value with this key now for uppercase. So I go down below and I know how to get access to it. I would say something like I don't know, upper, for example, for user upper. I need to find it in the values that I get, because I'm reading the window and I get values. And what was the key? It was up. You see, this is how you get access to the values. But since this is technically a string, I need to turn it into a number, so I would use an integer so that I turn what the user gives me to a number. Now let's just copy this whole thing here and paste it like here. I'm going to change them as well now. So for all the things, now I'm going to change these. I'm going to stop the video now. Okay, so now I have user lower, and I get that value with the low key, and digits with a dig key, symbols, underscore symbols with a sim key. That is, I have stored this information inside a variable. Now I have access to those. So now it works, because I'm going to use this number instead of 2. I'm going to use this number now. U upper. Instead of this two, I'm going to use U, oops, lower, U digits for this number. That is whatever the user inputs here. That is, if they enter 2 or 3 or 4, will be instead of this 2 now. And now everything is great, awesome. So we have total is basically going to be that password, but I'm not going to print total here. I'm going to put it somewhere else. Let me show you where. I'm going to print it here. So how can I do this? This has the key of pass. This is something that we defined here. We gave it a key of pass, and it is on the window. So let me close this. I'm going to, instead of printing total, I'm going to say window, and what was the key? Pass. This was the key of the window. Dot. We need to update that information, that place, with total, with this password. Whatever the password is, put it on that pass on the window. That is the multi-line. So let's run this and let's see what happens. Uppercase, 2 uppercase, 2 here, 2 and 2 all. Look, it works. But the thing is, it's not random, or is it? Let's see. Oh yeah, it is random. Uppercase, number, yeah. But what if someone doesn't enter anything here? You see, it just closes. Or if someone enters this, it just closes, and it gives us some message here. It gives us some value error. You see, value error, invalid literal. So we need to deal with this as well. This value error. How can we deal with this? We can tell our program that if the event is okay, if someone clicks on OK, try this code, all this code, and we're going to indent it. Oops. Let's see. Indent it under try. So try this. Except, we are going to say, except value error. Except a value error. So when there is a value error, that is, there is no number or is empty, instead of updating that multi-line with total, update it with a piece of text or warning, something like no valid number, something like that. Now let's run this and see. So if I press OK, you see, no valid number. And if I do it like that, it works. And if I put like an R, no valid number. Awesome. This was error handling. Easy, right? So we were able to make this in around 13 lines of code. You see that we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blank here, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So 11 blank lines here with these imports as well. So technically we have done it in around 30 lines of code in 25 minutes. That was it. I hope you enjoyed it, and please leave a like or a comment or share it with your friends. Thank you very much for watching and listening.